Hey guys, Planet Everything here, and today we're going to be going over what the effects of blue light are and why we hear so much negative about them, and is there any positives to blue light? So, blue light is something that is, well, it's emitted everywhere. It's basically any light with a low wavelength, such as blue colors or green colors. They emit more energy. That's why if you do happen to find yourself throughout this time staring at a screen more than normal, then you might also find yourself having a little bit of red in your eyes at the end of the night, or in extreme cases having red eyes at the end of the night. If you look at a screen enough and focus in as intensely as you possibly can. And blue light is not really a contributing factor to the bloodshot eyes that can come out of a full day of just staring at your computer intensely. That's a little more to do with stressing your eyes by focusing a lot on different things moving around, because if you're looking at a computer screen, chances are you're either reading, or like refocusing, and it does have to do slightly with the light coming out of the screen, but it also has to do with you focusing your eyes all over the place in different spots, and putting more stress on your eyes due to that, and the intense stare that you put on a screen, it makes your eyes more susceptible to harm during the day, but probably not long-term harm. But then again, I'm not really a doctor, I don't know. But blue light emits more energy, so the lower wavelengths that you get, the more energy they emit. So at a red wavelength, you're gonna have a lot more low energy light levels. So basically, light is measured in nanometers, and that is the wavelength at which light beams are, and the wavelength that they emit from the valence electron shell, where they bounce in and out of their shell and eventually emit a wavelength. And on a low scale, blue, on a low end of the nanometers is a high end of energy. So think about when you look at an ultraviolet light, that's right past the emission levels that you can see, the electron emission levels that you can see. So an ultraviolet light, if you've ever been to Disney or something like that, where you go on a ride, or I guess there are many theme parks that they probably use this, but if you look up in a corner somewhere and you see a blue light, and you look, or an ultraviolet light, and you look at it, and you kind of like, it's kind of difficult to, like, obviously can't see the color, but it's obvious that it's there, and for me at least, it hurts my eyes a little bit to look at those for a long period of time. Or any more than like 2 seconds, the really strong ones at least. And the reason for that being is that they have a lot of energy. So there are extreme negative effects to blue light if you're using blue light or something that emits blue light before going to sleep, such as using your phone or a monitor. So nowadays they've been putting a lot more blue light sensors in monitors, which changes it from looking like something like this to something like this. So the difference being, this looks a lot more like a, I forget what they used to be called. Not a Kindle, but like an e-reader that was like a lot more, it looked a lot more analog than nowadays. So this is going to be a lot more good for your eyes, because it's going to mitigate the amount of blue light that comes out of your monitor that manipulates your circadian rhythms. So I could be pronouncing that wrong, but the circadian rhythm is disrupted. It's a sleep rhythm. It has to do with you getting to sleep and staying asleep and having a restful sleep. So the blue light coming in your eyes 2 to 3 hours before bed will impact your ability to maintain a solid circadian rhythm, and it will disrupt your sleep cycle if you have that coming out your eyes, because you're going to have a lot more energy coming into your eyes and making a problem in that your circadian rhythm thinks that you're more awake, you're doing more things, you're out in the sunlight possibly, because the sunlight is also very high in energy. So naturally your body thinks that it's not really time to go to sleep yet, and it's not gonna go to sleep. And so if you're looking at your phone right before bed, which we all do, and occasionally we put it into the nighttime mode because we're feeling like we want to get extra good night's rest, but in reality it's 2 to 3 hours before bedtime that it can impact you, according to Stanford. And so I figured I'd share that with you. I thought it was interesting because on the upper end of the visible spectrum you have, or just right above the visible spectrum, you have infrared. Right below you have UV. Infrared, extremely low energy, so that transfer between valence electrons is not a very strong one when it bounces back between valence electrons. And then the exchange in energy between to make an ultraviolet wavelength is going to be a lot higher. So both of those you can't see, but blue light is far closer to an ultraviolet ray because it's down there. So green and blue are not good things to look at through a screen, or if you have like green lights or blue lights, probably shouldn't be looking at those before bed. But they can have positive impacts on you, which I feel like that's very under advertised, because it seems like everyone should be wearing blue light glasses all day long, but that's not really the case. Blue light can also help you throughout the day if you stare at things that have blue light. If you have your phone on full brightness, it will drain your battery obviously, but it will keep you more awake looking at blue light. I feel like this is obvious, but blue lights are negative at nighttime because they mess up your sleeping rhythms, but they don't hurt you at all during the day, and you shouldn't have your night mode on all day long because it is helping you stay awake. It might not be as good for your eyes to look at the higher energy light level coming out of your phone all day long, but it will keep you more awake, and it won't have any long-term effects as long as you don't go to sleep, or as long as you don't look at your phone 2 to 3 hours before bed with the blue light mode on. Now, the study that I read on Stanford, I think, also talked about how the night shift mode and stuff on iPhones actually does work pretty well. This blue light sensor on the monitor is ridiculous, the amount of change that it has, or that it looks like. It actually looks like reading from one of those old e-readers, but it's really nice because I can still edit my videos and go to sleep shortly after. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and also please share it with your friends because, you know, sharing is caring.